meeting of the Kyle Train Depot Board to order at 6:06 on this Monday, June 16th. All right, I would like to call for a roll.
Davis. Harrell. Spina.
Here.
Del Frate.
Here.
Gibson.
Yes?
Crosby. Herbert.
We still have a quorum, so we will proceed with the meeting at this time. At this time, we should call for approval of the minutes for the last meeting on April 21st, 2025. So can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Great. Can we have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Minutes are approved as presented. Let's see, next up, we have the citizens' comment period to the train board. The train board welcomes comments from citizens. Those wishing to speak are encouraged to sign in before the meeting begins. Speakers may be provided with opportunity to speak during the time period on any agenda item or on any other matter concerning the train depot board business, and they must observe the 3-minute time limit. Are there any? We have not received any requests to speak, so we shall close the citizens' comments at this time. That brings forward the staff reports and presentations. We need to receive a report on holding a discussion and providing staff feedback regarding the selection of roof color and future repairs of the caboose of the Kyle Depot and Heritage Center. I believe we have a presenter.
We do. Thank you, board members. My name is Melissa McCollum, Chief Development Officer. I'm excited to present to you tonight. The city has been working with our partners to identify some needed caboose repairs for the train depot. As you know, or for the train depot across the street, really you as a board are make recommendations to the city council regarding the property, and we really wanted to get your feedback regarding some of these repairs to the caboose. So these are some pictures that we kind of took. They did, as you see, the roof tarp has changed. They did go ahead and put a new tarp on the caboose, but there is some significant damage from water damage that is on the caboose itself. These are some pictures interior of the caboose, and you can see some wall damage as well. We have gotten a quote and are looking to proceed with true roof repair, but it's only roof repair at this time. It would not be kind of any of the interior needed caboose needs. So this would be kind of, I guess, phase 2 once the roof was done with phase 1.
But phase 1 would include the structural part of the roof?
Yes.
Just to be clear.
So from my understanding and looking at the quote, it is significant, kind of looking at a true kind of a metal roof, the structural integrity of the roof, making sure all the flashing and everything else is fixed for it to make it a watertight structure, for sure. So really the plan that we're proposing is re-roof first, and then really kind of fall back and look at some interior repairs. I wanted to kind of show you, it would be a standing seam metal roof they were looking at for it. These are some pictures from kind of the manufacturer of how these metal roofs look. And then this was a structure or a picture that they showed us of kind of a roof structure that they did for another type of caboose, similar with that metal.
Excellent.
So with that, we're really trying to get your feedback on color of said roof. So our quote really talks about selecting a standard roof color, and these are the 16 color options that we could select from for these roof repairs. And we're hoping that you can provide that feedback, and then we can go ahead and proceed with truly re-roofing first, and then kind of figuring out a game plan for the interior.
All right. One comment on the roof colors. Believe we had a silver roof when we started. The first roof I ever saw up there was a silver tone roof, more of the Portland stone color here on our chart. that we have available for us. Does anyone else have a preferred color or suggestion?
Well, I was gonna say, maybe the darker the better, because it's gonna get walked on. And Portland stone would show scuff marks. Maybe the pewter? Being a darker, silver or darker gray might be an option. That
Good.
and when I Googled, red cabooses, getting the notification, a lot of them had black roofs, but, I think,
Yeah.
I like the idea of staying closer to how we got it, but, yeah, I think a lighter color would show a lot of scuff marks. That'd be my suggestion.
Jane, anything?
Yeah, just maybe the colonial red might not match the caboose, so I'll stay away from that one. I'm okay with either the original silver Portland stone. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from with the scuff marks. People are going to be on it, but I would try to say keep it original.
And Bob?
Cadet gray was another option, I guess.
I would go either the Portland stone or the pewter, keep it in that gray family.
Yeah.
Those other colors, just, when I look at those colors, I don't associate that with a train.
Well, with our color, the other picture they showed, it had a nice green caboose, but it matched the green of the
The
roof.
caboose.
We don't have a red that matches our red, unfortunately. The one thing I think about a lighter color would be the possibility that it reflects more heat and more light, thus keeping the caboose a little cooler. But the pewter isn't stone black, so it's not going to absorb everything either. And we do get shade, a little bit of shade from the afternoon sun from the trees. So I think I'm in favor of the Portland stone. Let's have a call for a vote on which color we should go for. So I think, first of all, how many are in favor of the Portland stone? I'm in favor. 3. And then the pewter, are you still in favor of that? So that's a 3-to-1 vote. So we'll go with the Portland stone color on that part. Is there another presentation you have exhibit? or
No,
is
I
that
just
the
wanted to
exhibits?
kind of maybe finish up and talk about next steps real quick. Thank you so much for helping pick that roof color. I think after that, we will work with you as the train board as well as the historical commission on really kind of identifying needed repairs on the inside there and matching. There is some unique kind of stuff in there, so we'll want to make sure that, you know, the replacement and repairs really kind of match up with what's currently going on. And then I didn't know if there was any other repairs outlined that you thought, maybe with the main building itself or anything else on the site. And I do know that we've had a little bit of talks here at the train board, which all work to get a presentation maybe of really truly identifying where signs and other stuff could be located on the property to make sure it doesn't do any damage to the property as well. So I think we can follow up with that with a future agenda item as well.
Okay. One thing I would mention as far as future repairs, I noticed last week that there appeared to be sawdust on the floor and on a few windowsills, and I noticed a trail up through the middle of the 2 windows on the south-facing side, what looked like termite popping through. So I have contacted the county. They have contacted a specialist to come in and treat for the termites and to trap them inside, and then to do routine maintenance on the outside to prevent the termites from coming back. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how that goes. But that's a vast concern if our building's going to crumble. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But we do have somebody working on that. Other than that, we have 1 pane of broken glass, which again, the county is working on. And that's about all the maintenance at the moment that we need. The signage out front, we are starting to come close to another election cycle in my mind. So we should be trying to figure out some way to protect our signage and the view of our signage. I don't know if we need further communications with the city or the, whoever can maybe possibly try and get some cement in that area or some way to block people from driving signs in front of our sign. Is there any way that can happen? Can we have a person from the city come and talk about that?
Absolutely. I think there's ways for us to identify areas that signs would be appropriate. I don't know for drainage and everything else if truly installing a whole bunch of concrete's probably best, but I think there's absolutely ways that you can identify where and how signs should be located on the property and where they would and where they wouldn't be allowed. But if we really want to add some more pervious cover, we could look at doing that.
I think just in limited spots in front of our main sign needs to be done because they don't respect that at all. And if we could get a restriction on placing signs in the planter box in front of the building, technically that is attached to the building. It is a county structure. I don't know if that bears any weight on whether you can put a sign in that garden or not. Similar to putting one out in the yard in front of the courthouse or something. I don't know if they can do that. If they can't, it would be nice to have a restriction on placing them just in that planter box. Anything in the park next to the depot, I have no problem with. So, does anybody else have any suggestions on what we can do to either beautify or improve the look of the building in front of the depot? As you come up the street in either direction, it kind of lacks any cohesiveness with being in the city. There's no sidewalks, there's no landscaping, it's pretty bare, and I understand that's railroad property, but is there something that we can maybe do
Yep.
to?
And I would say absolutely. I think for the city in general is looking at kind of completing that sidewalk gap that is
Okay.
right there. So I do hope that there's future, and there is future plans. We'll have to work with the railroad kind of on that rail crossing. But yes,
Right.
and then in general also, the city is looking at doing some gateway features and some enhanced gateway landscaping that we hope this property will be included in that as well. So more to come on that.
Okay.
But that will be, the lead time's a little bit longer on some of those items for sure.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Bob?
As far as like on election day, I mean, the elections that's under the purview of the county, isn't it?
City and county, I
City.
think.
Yeah, so I will say City Hall is a polling location for most elections. It seems like that from other examples, I think we absolutely have the ability to, if we allow people to put signs on our property, kind of to tell them where we want said signs to be. So I think there's those opportunities that we can kind of maybe tighten up, understanding that City Hall is a polling location, and you're right, there's some sign restrictions about where and when you can have them adjacent to a polling location and how close, but it doesn't mean they can go everywhere either, so I think there's potentially some options that we can kind of refine where we want those to go. That doesn't damage and block, kind of the depot building itself.
Do you have any thoughts, Jane?
No, I think those are all great suggestions. If you need any concrete, just let me know. I can take care of it for you.
Jim, you got any ideas about in the front or things you would like to?
No, I think we've
Anyway.
covered a lot. As far as the drainage, as long as you minimize the concrete surface, it doesn't impact the drainage. But yeah, that would be a good way to restrict signs in front of the sign, so.
Yeah. The other thing, we do need to start thinking about in maybe a year or two repainting the building. I've noticed the browns are starting to get a little faded from the original color. The sides on the more shaded side, they're still fairly vibrant, but by the front door and stuff. But I think that's a good year away. But we should at some point be presenting that to the city as well. So that's something that definitely is on routine maintenance and stuff for but it's a major part of it. Is there anything else anybody has on these presentations?
I have one question. Is there a timeline about the roof repair?
I will follow up with exact dates, but I think the city's absolutely supportive of doing this sooner rather than later for the roof repairs. I think some of the interior, we haven't even gotten any quotes for that yet or anything, so that will be a little bit longer lead time on what's needed for the interior
So
repairs.
has the quote been accepted for the roof?
I don't, it has not 100% been accepted yet, but management's absolutely working to kind of incorporate that, and it's budget, I feel like it's budget time all the time at the city, but we're already looking at a budget kind of costs for next year, for next fiscal year. I think they're hoping to do the roof this fiscal year, like sooner rather than later, but next fiscal year would probably be truly maybe some of the interior repairs and really start mapping out some of these repairs sooner rather than later for that understanding. The structure absolutely needs to be watertight, you know.
Well, yeah,
So-
the way it is now is as you come into town, it's the
Yeah,
first thing you see.
absolutely.
So does that mean we should be presenting something for painting the building next year? Or should we be waiting off on that because of the money going to be allocated for the caboose?
I
If we're
think,
coming up on the next fiscal year budget.
so next fiscal year is October to October, so if you were looking at doing that 2027 anyway, I think you're probably still okay with waiting a little bit, you know, and
Okay.
kind of getting those quotes like this time next year, you know, for the 6 months after. So I think, yeah, I think we have a little bit of time, but absolutely, the interior repairs we would look at probably doing in next fiscal year's budget, but understanding
Okay.
what some of those costs are now, so we can make sure that we've allocated it.
Okay, so we're looking basically at fixing the roof this year, the interior next year, and then trying to bring the steepo itself back up to its beautiful standards the year following
For painting, yes.
for painting. Does that seem acceptable to everybody?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
That is a good schedule. All right, I guess we can go with that. And have that as our base sort of dream.
Perfect. Well, honestly, that pretty much concludes my presentation for this. I'll
Okay.
absolutely follow up in an email to kind of give you next steps so you guys can follow along on the roof repairs. And then you can, thank you for many of you being liaisons with the Historical Commission too. So kind of once the city is able to pull the trigger or kind of where we're at with that, I'll let you know. And then you can update your counterparts as well. That would be awesome.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Enjoyed your presentation. Before we adjourn, is there anything anyone has else that anything wants to bring up for the next meeting that we could talk about? Are we pretty much locked in? All right.
No, I think that hits all our priorities.
I guess if there's no further business, I will call for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Jim
Second.
calls for first, James seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.